Hello, good evening, and welcome back. Where have you been? Where have we been? Quite frankly, it seems like ages since we were in the studio, getting ready for another cracking day of flat racing. But I hope you had a good May. We last saw you for a couple of classics, and we're back for a couple more classics as well as we travel all the way over to Epsom for 2 days. The Oaks and the Derby, of course, lining up on Friday and Saturday. The emotional and literal ups and downs are rattling around on that adverse camber. What more could you possibly want? But as for tonight's show, we will be, of course, focusing on the Oaks, and then we'll get stuck into the whole Derby malarkey with draw biases and can a horse win from box one, or can a horse win from about 20 lengths behind all the horses that were ahead of him last time out. It's going to be a weird old weekend, I feel, at Epsom, and some of the best horses that we've seen in trials won't even be there, of course. But we'll be over to the Oaks tomorrow to get stuck into that, and with no Gosden representative, it pretty much is an open goal for O'Brien, in theory. 3 runnings in the last 10 years. The Gosdens haven't sent a horse to Epsom, and O'Brien's won every single one of them. And to be fair, you can flip a coin between the two. So if John and Thady aren't turning up, is it going to be Ylang who is top of the 3-year-old tree? To be fair, Wellsend's won over as well. It was very impressive last time out over at Navan. And of course, confirmed ladies' man, as it were, Rafe Beckett, who's very good with the fillies indeed, has a couple in that race to get involved as well. Most notably, Chester winner Forest Fairy. But yeah, we are back in the saddle. Are you? Let us know. The chat box is right ahead of me. Hello to everyone who is watching. What have you been doing with yourselves over the past few weeks? Probably praying for sunshine, I imagine. It'll come eventually. Duncan Evans, Bernard Malone, Steve Dickinson, Alex G, Brian Galt, Eamon, Jive Turkey, and Luke King. Good evening to you and many, many more. And a very good evening to the best T-shirt tan in the studio. And it was a close run thing between me and Mr. Paul Kealy. But look at that, my good man. You've been enjoying May.
Oh, absolutely. For a very brief moment there, I thought you were going to introduce me as a confirmed ladies' man, which would have baffled everybody.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. You've many things.
Absolutely. My birthday's tomorrow, mate.
Is it?
56 years to the day where my granddad refused to give my dad a lift to the hospital while my mum was in labour because he wanted to watch the Oaks.
Wow.
Fantastic, eh?
It's all about priorities, isn't it?
Hard drinking, heavy smoking, legend of a man who introduced me to the delights of inebriation at the age of about 12.
Right. I was going to say, this is 4 minutes in. It's quite the therapy session already. I mean, suddenly I understand you a lot more now, Keels. But of course,
perfect role model.
You've taken that, and like all good children, rebelled against it.
Absolutely,
by being
yeah.
Oh no, wait.
Yeah.
By doing exactly the same thing. But 2 days at Epsom, Friday and Saturday. Now, obviously, you are intrinsically linked with this meeting then, as a human being.
Absolutely, and I live down the road, and I'm stuck at the office both days. Isn't that great?
It is indeed. What's your opinions on the meetings as a punter?
As a punter, I mean, it's hard, isn't it? You do get some funny results. You do get some very obvious ones as well.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's back horses up with the pace, unless the pace collapses, and then sometimes it does, doesn't it? Like, you know what I mean? But 5, 6, 7 furlongs a mile, generally. You want to be up there, don't you?
Yeah. Slightly weird renewals of both the classics this year. Would that be fair? Certainly on paper.
Oh, let's not beat around the bush. Rubbish, pair of them.
Well, I was trying to be diplomatic, but yeah, they're a bit...
Yeah, I mean, people don't want to run in it anymore, do they?
No.
Like, the Derby's unfortunate. I mean, obviously, the best trial winner doesn't want, connections don't want to run in it. The second best trial winner broke down and died. Arguably the third best trial winner, or joint third best trial winner at Sandhams is injured.
Yeah.
And we've got a favourite who could barely raise a gallop for more than half a mile in the Guineas. So, yeah, it's very strange.
Very strange indeed. Let's go and see pundit number 2 for the evening, of course. It's been a while since we've seen Mr. Tom Segal. 2 days at Epsom, Tom. Slightly weird lineups, but I tell you what, the 3-year-old Group 1 so far, both on these shores out over in Ireland, have been absolute crackers, really. So you never know. They could surprise us at Epsom on Friday and Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's too early to write them off as being rubbish now, isn't it? I mean, they are rubbish in terms of what they've done today. But come Friday and come tomorrow and come Saturday, we could be looking at very good horses. We just don't know. That's the thing about the Derby and the Oaks. Nearly every horse in them is doing something different than they've ever done before. So they're all virtually entitled to take a massive step forward. They've all only run a couple of times, really. And so we could see a really good horse. I doubt it, personally, in the Oaks, but I think we could see one in the Derby. There's still plenty of time for a Los Angeles or a City of Troy or a, one of those unbeaten ones to take a big step forward. So yeah, so looking forward to it. I always am. I love the Derby and Oaks. Great races.
Can I just say that I much preferred your nutty Professor hairdo rather than the quite boring one you've got at the moment, Mr. Segal?
Anyway, I was going to say when you said yeah, my granddad introduced me. I thought you were certain to say horse racing, but no.
Yeah, it was of all the things. Yeah, he wanted to watch the Oaks, but he also wanted to finish his pint and his cigarette by the
absolutely.
But yeah, no, I mean, people in glass houses and everything, Tom. But it's an interesting cut you've gone for there.
It was yesterday.
Right.
Short, isn't it?
Well, that's the thing. You know what? I had my best haircut for a while, and I realised that the key to it is to go in and say, "Can you cut my hair?" as if it's a week after you've cut my hair, and
yeah,
they did the best one ever. So,
well, I've got to go to Royal Ascot, so I thought, get it short. 2 weeks' time, it'll be perfect.
Yeah, spot on. Speaking of which, I've got a bit of a bone to pick with you. Of course, we've got 2 mile-and-a-half Group 1s taking the focus. There's plenty of sprints though the next couple of days, and you've had a right about turn, haven't you, as a tipster, Tom? You've been tipping sprinters left, right, and centre over the past few weeks.
I tip group sprinters. No, I mean we're going to do it tomorrow. But talk about ruining a card? 2 5 furlong sprints.
Yeah, but
0 to 90 3-year-old sprint in them just an hour before the Derby.
I know.
What a shambles.
But again, it's almost as if you're such a contrarian that you've become contrary to yourself, and you hate sprints, but have now started delving into the big sprints.
Only Group 1s. I've given up on the sprint handicaps. I thought I'd give it a try to the start of the season, but no, they're out. They're out now.
Yeah.
Very quiet day for me tomorrow.
Yeah, fair enough. Summergand and Mondomeasure sat at home, I think.
One nearly fell over, didn't it?
I was going to say, ruining the day. You decided to start tipping them in sprint handicaps, I think. But anyway, let's go and see the final member of the team this evening, Mr. David Stevens. Good evening to you.
Good evening, gents. I've got to take slight issue with Keel's Ed dismissing both the Oaks and the Derby at this stage. I mean, look, all the trial winners are there in the Oaks. We can really ask for much more in that. And the Derby, yeah, I mean, look, we are missing a few for varying different reasons. But the City of Troy's presence alone in the Derby makes it fascinating. I mean, Aidan O'Brien just sort of continues to double down on this horse and blame himself. And so at least him lining up is going to be interesting, if nothing else. So, yeah, I'm with Tom on this. It's a brilliant 2 days, Epsom. It's still very much the biggest flat race of the year by some distance in terms of betting turnover, the Derby. And we set up tomorrow with a couple of Group 1s as well. And Tom, he just does that thing, doesn't he? We just know he's going to tipple a couple of sprint handicap winners tomorrow now.
The thing is, though, we know that he's 30 seconds dismiss an entire race of 25 runners and give us a tricast probably. But yeah, I mean, I think partly it's not necessarily that I am slightly looking at the Oaks and Derby and thinking, a little bit underwhelmed. But I mean, the Guineas were absolutely fantastic this year, and I don't know if I'm almost being after those 4 races, I guess. Part of me's looking at it and going, I thought we were in for one of those real rip-roaring seasons where every 3-year-old race is an absolute blinder. So maybe it's just the quality is down relative to what we've seen so far this season.
Yeah, and I suppose, the milers, you're right. The Rosalian notable speech rematch in the St James's Palace could be a cracker. Obviously, we have got horses from both Guineas running in the next 2 classics, but very early days. We know the season goes on right now through, all the way through the winter now, really. So, yeah, look, there's still plenty to look forward to, including hopefully a couple of winning price boosts over the next few days in the Coronation Cup. The first of them is Emily Upjohn, of course, last year's winner. She beat 4 rivals last year. She'll have to do the same again. She's 13-8 from 5-4. And in the Oaks, the favourite is currently Ilang Ilang, and that one is 5-2 from 2-1. They're both for a tenner for the duration of this live show.
Fair enough. Actually, I'm going to go to Paul Kealy for reaction to those prices. All right, actually, as far as they go.
Yeah, definitely Ilang Ilang anyway. I think she'll be near evens on the day.
Well, there you go. There you go indeed. Right, let's get stuck into Epsom after this. Okay, right. Let's start off then at Epsom tomorrow with the first race on Oaks Day for the juveniles, the Woodcote Stakes. Of course, now a conditions race for these 6 furlong 2-year-olds, and the betting is as follows. There we go. New Charter 15-8, Megalithic 11-4, TJA is 9-2, End of Story 5-1, Tanager 14s, Assertively 16s, J Street 28, Whiskey Glasses is 33-1, and we've also got Atherstone Warrior and Lift Lady in there as well. And again, it is always an interesting lineup in the Woodcote Stakes, a variety of horses, some of which haven't even won a race, including the favourites at the top of the betting here for Richard Hannon and Sean Levy in the shape of New Charter, who was a very eye-catching debutant last time out behind a previous winner, and of course from the yard who ran Dual Guineas placed Hartem in this race last year, who was very unlucky indeed. So yeah, lots to like, I think, on paper of the favourite Keels, but the fact that, you know, the first two in the betting are both maidens, it's just always a bit of an odd race, this, isn't it?
It is always a bit of an odd race. I mean, the one thing you can say is that New Charter's, you know, based on the figures, is and obviously that's a really, really good run to finish second to a filly who's about 6-4 for the Albany. Midnight Breeze, is it?
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that? Like, you know?
Mountain Breeze.
Mountain Breeze,
Yeah.
sorry, yeah, Mountain Breeze, yeah. So yeah, a really, really good start. I mean, it's strange to see her running around 6 furlongs in a Woodcote at Epsom, given her pedigree.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You'd expect her to be coming back for the Oaks next year, wouldn't you? She'd be related to Time Chart. She's by a French Derby winner who was placed in an arc. But she wasn't short of pace. She probably got outspeeded right a bit late on. So I mean, this quick track might not be for her.
She's in a good position though, box 3.
Yeah, it all depends on what they do, doesn't it? Are they going to come standside?
It won't be that soft, will it? Surely not.
Well, you just don't know. Good to soft ground. Last time it was good to soft ground was when Snowfall won.
Yeah.
And obviously it's hammering down on the day there, but it was officially good to soft. They all came over. When Minding won the Oaks in 2016, it was good to soft. They stayed to far side.
Yeah.
Winning times were identical that day. So I mean, it's going to be a choice to make.
I mean, a lot of it. I mean, again, when you talk about something like that, it is psychology often rather than the best.
Absolutely.
If all the jockeys think they want to come over that near side,
yeah.
I think it'd be a bold shout first race on good to soft though to do that.
Yeah.
They might change it. They might decide halfway through the day that they actually, you know what, it's a bit chewed up over there. But
yeah, it's quite possible. I wouldn't be surprised if one did it on its own. I mean, that has happened before.
Yeah.
Right, you know, but we'll see. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, good birth, good form. We'll obviously see it out very well. I just wonder whether the track might actually be too quick for her. She's going to end up wanting a lot further. But she does have easily the best form. I was quite taken with Megalithic's debut at Salisbury. He was very, very well backed, but just way too green to do himself justice. And he did come home strongly on soft ground. He's definitely going to get the extra furlong. He's going to improve dramatically for the run and the distance. If I was going to have a bet, it would probably be him against the Fab. Hardly original. But
I was going to say, there's not a lot of juice in there,
no,
is
there's
there?
not a lot of juice for me, no.
Okay. New Charter then's 15-8. Megalithic is 11-4 here, Tom Segal. There's been a bit of money for TJA. I don't know if you've had anything to do with that, but she is a proven winner. She rattled around Chester and absolutely dotted up. It all went to plan for her, admittedly, on the day. But from box 6 for a yard that can do no wrong with 2, 3, 4, 5-year-olds, she's obviously going to have a chance as well. What did you like in the Woodcote?
TJ or TJ? Don't know how to pronounce it. I sort of agreed with Keel's Megalithic, really. I think that was a good race at Salisbury, 5 furlongs, but Chaldean's half-sister was in there. I think a decent horse of Eve Johnson Horton's won it. It was unbeaten. I would be with him against New Charter here. I was wondering whether, you've got to remember, on the first day of this meeting, they stick the rail out. And so they sometimes come up the middle. I mean, I remember a few of the mile handicaps where they all sort of. Do you remember Totally Charming won it up the middle for George Bowie? And I just wonder whether they'll all come up the middle. Really, that seems to be something that they do at lots of tracks these days. So I wouldn't be not really worried about the draw. I know Megalithic's drawn a bit wide in 9. I think might have a little bit more pace than New Charter, so that would be the way I'd go. TJ was impressive at Chester, undoubtedly. Trap 1, he had, is it he or she? Had that day, and won comfortably. But I think the other two might just be a class above. As you say, there's been some good horses running this. Pinatubo won it. Artem's been beaten in it. Buratino went on to win the Coventry after winning this. So they, some trainers aren't prepared to run really good horses in this, and I wouldn't be surprised if the top two are pretty good. Proper horses that will be running in top races at the end of the season. So I think they'll dominate. I'll go for Megalithic.
Yeah, it is a bit interesting because sometimes you get different types winning it, don't you? Like bobsleigh won it last year. You had the speedy horses beating the better horses last year, whereas like you said, when Pinatubo was winning it, it's kind of the other way around. The front two in the betting do have clearly the best pedigrees, but they ain't 2-year-old sprinting pedigrees. But I don't know. The only other one that means you just have to look at an Eve Johnson Horton horse in this kind of race as well, don't you? And Tanager, that Ascot race was good. Never had any chance from the track position, but obviously she won this, and she won the Mary Gate at York. She's just fantastic with these horses. Yeah,
absolutely, and she's got such a good load of 2-year-olds this season that to actually choose to run Tanager here, she must think he's very suitable for the task ahead. So yes, I could totally get that. I thought Assertively might go well in the cheap pieces as well. He was stuck on the outside at Beverley last time, as was J Street, who I thought Sylvester de Souza was a good booking for from stall 2. If he's got a bit of pace, that horse, he looked at it at Beverley and could run well at a big price. But I really think the top two might just be a little bit classier, so that'd be the way I look. But I wouldn't, they're short enough.
Okay, thank you very much. David Stevens, anything to add to throw into the mix in the Woodcote?
Yeah, I'd take on the top two, actually. I thought End of Story won well at Thirst, goes an extra furlong. That was good to soft, so won't mind good to soft. Should get an extra furlong. Form of that Thirst win has worked out okay. And I like Tijay or Tijar, however we're saying it. She won well at Chester, got a couple of runs, the experience. But interesting, Nick Bradley Racing, who owned Tija, he runs another 3 in this as well. So clearly a race he wants to go well in. And a Nick Bradley owned winner of this Woodcote is a 3-1 from 5-2.
Okay, Nick Bradley to win the opener. Then he's got plenty of darts being thrown. 3-1 out from 5-2. Not a great deal of opinions in this race on the chat. So let's move on from the Woodcote to a cracking little handicap here. 1.5 miles a furlong, 113 yards to be very specific. 16 of them lining up at the moment. Let's hope it stays that way. And Koi Koi is 11-2 favourite here. Alma Beer 13-2. Dancing Magic 7-1. Orban 7-1. Beshtani 8-1. Finchar is 8-1. Fantastic Fox 9-1. Bo Pedro 10-1. And bigger prices the rest. We were talking about the classic milers being a very good bunch this year, but we've had some fantastic older horse handicaps as well, and a few of these come out of those races. The likes of Alma Beer, who can't buy luck at all, can he? He was in the wrong place at York and got going too late at Leicester last time out. Old friend / enemy Orban's in there. The Johnsons have a couple who should go well at the track, but Tom Segal, come to you first. The man to follow at Epsom in these kind of races is George Bowie, who has a 32% strike rate at the track. Like you said, you mentioned Totally Charming earlier on, the likes of Cadillac as well. Yeah, you've got to... I looked at Koi Koi and thought, well, this is a bit short, given the nature of the race. And then I looked who trained him and thought, oh, that's probably why.
Well, that's why he's so short, isn't he? Because everyone's cottoned on to the fact how well George Bowie does in these races. And he could have... All the King's Men was entered, who... was he a bit unlucky to not win it last year? So he obviously knows exactly Koi Koi will have been targeted at this race. Undoubtedly, William Buick's book, isn't he? I wholeheartedly get why he's favourite. He was a bit unlucky last time at Newmarket. I thought that was a good race. Carried the won it, and got a bit hampered close home. He's only a couple of pounds higher than last winning mark. Likes turning tracks. Won't mind if it's soft. Plenty going for him. Couldn't put you off him. Almu Beer similar. Thought he was a bit unlucky last time at York. Ground was probably too quick for him, but he's run well off this sort of mark before. Loads of them you can make a case for. I'm on Orban, but he was 14, 16 to 1 when I was looking at him, and now he's 7th. I'm not sure I'd be on him at 7, but he's just incredibly well handicapped. I know he's getting on a bit, but he's £12 lower than when he was 4th in the race last year, beating a length or so. Sylvester de Souza's booked, won't mind the ground. So he was the one I thought would go well at a price, but I totally get the Koi Koi angle. I think he's got a very good chance. Well, I've got to throw in Finn's Charm as well, because if you go back to the Musselburgh run from last year, he had listed winners and Heron Stakes winners and all sorts behind him, and he won by 5 lengths. and he's just done not much since. But Mark Johnson was he 1-2 in this race last year, or recently he was. I think it was last year, and it's just the type of track where his horses come back and bounce back, and so I could see Finn's Charm going well. But I'm on Orban, very scared of Koi and Almubir, as the market would suggest.
Okay, yeah, Orban, who, like you said, has been placed on two of his runs, both his runs here at the track, off significantly higher marks. But yeah, I thought Finn's Charm was a big eye catcher at Chester last time out. I watched that back and never really put in the race at all until it was all too late. Coasted home under hands and heels. You've also got Ben Aker for the same connections, who's 2 from 2 at the track as well. And
yeah, absolutely. You can throw in a big run every now and again, Ben Aker, can't he? I've backed him a few times. And Finn's Charm, like you said, was an eye catcher. But my MO, as I pretty much tell everybody these days, is I look at these races, see what price the market leader is, and see if I can get him beat. And having gone through a lot of them, I decided I wouldn't really want to lay Koi at 4s, let alone 11-2. So that's the one I've come down on. I mean, he was in proper career best form at the end of last year. He bolted up over this trip at Wolverhampton, and he should have won at Ayr on his final start when he was just waiting in a pocket for ages to get a run. And that was off a mark 99. Then he went to Dubai, and he didn't run particularly well in Dubai. I mean, plenty of horses do that, but also 2 of those runs were over trips short of his best. The last one over 6 furlongs. I mean,
very odd, wasn't it?
Not a 6 furlong horse in a million years, but because of that, he's come back £4 lower than when he should have won that race at Ayr. And last time, yes, he got in a bit of trouble. I don't think he'd have won. He was a bit unlucky. He'd have been closer. He was beaten 2.5 lengths, 6 of 15. He was running on again before running out of room. But an RPR there of 99 for that run. That's his best over 7 furlongs by a country mile. By about £7, I think it is. And he's now going back up to his correct trip. The trainer's booked William Buick. He's got 25% strike rate at Epsom. He's, the best record of anyone with loads of rides there. Champion jockey too, obviously. So, and of course, yes, he loves the ground. So yes, I think well handicapped. There's more to come from him. If he doesn't get in any trouble, I think he'll win.
Okay, Koi then is 11-2 for Bowie and Buick. Both have excellent records at this track. David Stevens, we've got 16 runners at the moment. Are we extra places or any boosts, or what have you got in this second race?
Yeah, we're 5 places each way in this. Koi is a worthy and an obvious favourite, as Kills has just made the case again there. I like a couple from the Chester race. Dancing Magic, he's still a maiden after 13 goes, but there's got to be a win in him at some point. He was second in the Chester race. That Finn's Charm was a few places behind him that day. I'll go for those 2 again. Finn's Charm, obviously one of 3 Charlie Johnston trained runners in a race the Yard has obviously won before, and a Charlie Johnston trained winner of this race. Was 5-2, is now 3-1.
Okay, yeah, so you've got a few going for you then. Finn's Charm, like you said, Dutch Decoy, Ben Aker, like I said, who is 2 from 2 and did too much at Newmarket last time out. You do get the feeling quite a few of these have maybe had this meeting and subsequent maybe Hunt Cup angles or various races over the course of the high summer in mind. But Koi is 11-2 favourite. Any opinions on the chat? Let's have a gander. Tom Leach is going with his Cliff horse, Bo Pedro, each way. Destiny Sounds likes to look at Dashing Roger at a big price, well weighted on ground that he likes. And let's have a look. Apart from that, what else have we got? Charlie Bishop has a good record at Epsom. Says Jive Turkey. I don't know if that was in reference to the 2-year-old race where he is riding the Eve Johnson Horton horse, because as I scroll down, he doesn't have a ride in this, so bear that in mind for when he does. Let's move on then to the 310 at Epsom, the Coronation Cup, 1.5 miles, the distance for this Group 1 contest, and Epsom favourite, unless of course you all over in the Oaks. Emily Upjohn is 5-4 favourite here. Feed the Flame 7-2. Luxembourg is 7-2. Hamish at 7-1, and Time Lock at 11-1. Plenty of horses in this contest having to prove themselves at the track or the trip or on the ground or just in general off the back of bad runs. But of course Emily Upjohn ran a bit of a blinder on her one run in Dubai, and of course Paul Kealy, crucially, absolutely loves the place.
Well, yeah, she loves the place. She's the most likely winner, I think, without a shadow of a doubt. She's just one of those fillies that I think she's just quirky, isn't she? And I've never really warmed to her. She can look very good. She looked brilliant when she beat Westover here last year. Yep. She was obviously second in the Oaks as well, but I've never really warmed to her. She's a filly that I've always wanted to take on. whenever she runs. I think she was actually below form in Dubai. Not as below form she was on the final start last season. I think she takes a bit of getting to know as well. Kieran Schumacher's only on her for the second time. I wanted to take him on with something. I thought Luxembourg, his chance is all on 1 mile 2 furlong form, really. I could see the case for Feed the Flame, but I didn't think he was obviously miles better than Hamish or Time Lock.
Yeah.
I was going to back Hamish, and I wish I had, but I can't now, not at 7-1 when he was 25s when the decks were made.
Yeah.
I think people are expecting the ground maybe to be softer than it is.
Sorry, say that again. He was 25s when the decks were made?
25s when the decks were made, yes. He's now down to 7s. I guarantee you he was 25s.
When you said decks, my head just assumed you meant entries given the prize.
No, decks. He was 25s, and he's just shortened and shortened and shortened and shortened.
Wow, okay.
It's madness. He's a bit short. I mean, he hasn't lost a race since October 22.
Yeah.
So, you know, all his form lately has been at 1.5 miles, which I used to think was too short for him. But he's, you know, the ground will be fine for him. Whether he's quite quick enough for these, I'm not so sure. And I ended up having a couple of quid on Time Lock. I know she has the most to find. She has been supplemented, and I think Epsom managed to miss most of the rain today.
Yep.
I don't think she wants it really, really soft, and I just don't think it's going to be now. And I just think we haven't seen the best of her. I thought she was improving rapidly until she ran in the Fillies and Mares and Champions Day last year, and that return at Newmarket was fine. It was just a case of getting beat by a horse who stole a race, which is what Outbox does every now and again, isn't it? You know, so I thought I'd give her a chance to improve again. The interesting first-time cheek pieces that they put on. Charlton Yard was at a 29% strike rate with first-time cheek pieces last season. So yeah, quite interesting at a price.
Okay. It is an interesting race, obviously. But Time Lock is 11-1 shot. Obviously, a lot of money for Hamish. He's some horse, isn't he, Hamish? I mean,
brilliant, isn't he?
He kind of deserves a win. I mean, again, he'd be almost a heart selection, wouldn't he? And to be fair, he's not far off being a head selection either, Tom. So you've got the. I mean, you talk about Emily Upjohn. Not sure what to make of her, and warm to her. Luxembourg, Tom. I mean. What is he?
I think his chance simply depends on getting an easy lead, I think. Because as Kealy says, his best form's over 10. There's not much pace here, are there? They all want to be held up, apart from Luxembourg, who I think will go out in front if Ryan Moore can sort of dawdle around. He's quite quick, isn't he? He's won plenty of Group 1s over 10. He could get the run of the race. I think that's sort of the angle in with him. Personally, I'm not a fan of him. Emily Upjohn is the best horse in the race, but 5-year-old mare that's coming off 2 bad runs. No, Hamish is just too short now. I thought, as Kealy said, if you're on him at 40s and 25s, I know Palamine's on at 40s, then yes, all well and good. Don't really want to back him at 7s. Time Lock, I thought, just had a bit to prove on the ground, especially. I know people say it isn't going to be that soft, but there is more rain forecast tonight. Around, well, I know there is here, and I don't know if it went any softer than it is now, I'd be worried about her. I thought Feed the Flame had a really good chance. Only beaten 5 lengths in an arc, Group 1 winner. The thing about him, he's a bit of a lummox, Ross. Bit of a lummox.
Here we go. Who had 6:30? Who had 6:30 on the spreads?
Bit of an old lummox, but small field, really long straight will help him. He takes a bit of time to get wound up, but it's a half mile straight at Epsom. It's a long way. They get running straight up there, and I thought he ran very well in the Gannet last time. Slowly run race, gave them all 4 lengths head start, and nearly cut them all back. Closing sectionals were excellent. Undoubtedly a Group 1 horse. As I say, there is the doubt about him around Epsom, but it's only a 5-runner field. I think he could win that. I think he's pretty classy, Feed the Flame on his day, and I think if Emily Upjohn, as I expect, isn't at her best, I think he's better than the others.
Just a quick word. We had a comment in the chat from Michael Williams 695 about Kieran Schumacher riding for John Gosling. I mean, it's been quite the baptism of fire, hasn't it? Given Dettori's absence and Kieran Schumacher getting into the saddle. I mean, he's not found it particularly easy, but. Partly in the back of my mind thinks a lot of these Gosling horses are priced up with the assumption that Dettori's still in the saddle. Nothing against Kieran Schumacher, but it is Has that affected things for the yard at all this season? Is it a bit of a warming up period for him for riding so consistently in these top races on these high pressure horses?
Well, I don't know. Have they got any? Have they got any good horses? Have they got any good 3-year-olds? I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they've just got. And Spiral was first time up. She was a bit disappointing, but they did win the race with Audience. I don't know if they've got any good 3-year-olds, and so I don't know if he's done anything wrong. I haven't seen him do anything especially wrong so far.
Oh no, I'm not saying he's doing something right, but it's just. I mean, they're huge boots to fill, and almost like you can't. You're on a hide into nothing, aren't you? A little bit.
You are, but I don't. You got to. I always think that you can only do what you can do. You can only try your best. He's done nothing. Frankie wouldn't have run on In Spiral. Frankie wouldn't have won on Friendly Soul.
No.
Frankie wouldn't have. No chance. This has not been his fault.
No. No.
So I'm not that. I think he's a very talented rider. So it'll come good for him. It's just early days, and don't think he's really mucked up on anything specifically yet.
No, I just wonder whether, like I said, towards the middle to the back end of the season, where he's used to the pressure, it might change things. But anyway, maybe I'm overthinking it. Wouldn't be the 500th time. I can't believe David Stevens that it wasn't Luxembourg that got the first lummox of the show on our return. But what did you make of the Coronation Cup here? Market moves all over the shop, small field, but as ever with these 1.5 mile races for the older horses, it's going to be tactically fascinating / frustrating depending on what you back.
Yeah, Hamish, as Keels has alluded to, it's been the big mover. Obviously, as the rain's kept falling, don't know if there's any more rain around tomorrow. If not, it's currently good to soft, which is what Hamish can win on. It's just whether he's classy enough against these proven Group 1 performers, which Emily Upjohn undoubtedly is. The fact they're persisting with her as a 5-year-old mare, they clearly feel there's more to come. And the 13-8 price, I think that's a very fair price. I love Feed the Flame. I've done ever since he won the Grand Prix de Paris. Wasn't beaten all that far in the arc. But I am worried about the lummox factor around Epsom. And Time Lot, the fact that they've chosen to supplement her. They obviously believe that she can run a big race. The only one I really couldn't make a case for is Luxembourg, so he'll probably go and win. But if you sort of force me, I'd probably at the prices Emily Upjohn, just because she has been there, done it before.
Okay, the Coronation Cup then. For people who Andy Schumacher this season, 34 winners, 16% strike rate and 24 quid up level stake profit. At SP, can't bash him too much on that. Fair enough, Andy Like I said, the statistics for there's a stat for everything, that's for sure. Coronation Cup, Keels, before we move on.
Yeah, I've had a couple of quid, but not confidently on the outsider. Time Lot.
Okay, Mr. Segal.
A lummox watch for me. Feed the Flame.
Okay, lovely. Sorry, I just had a vision there of Chris Packham and Michaela Strachan coming on and presenting Lummox Watch. David Stevens.
There's a thought. I would love the Lummox to win for Pascal Barry, but Emily Upjohn would be the bet.
Okay. Right, the 345 at Epsom is a 10 furlong handicap. Up next, 13 of them line up here for this Class 2 event. City Streak and Bolster are 9-2 joint favourites here. Liberty Lane 6-1, Derry Lad 6-1. I Still Have Faith 8-1, King's Code 9-1. Sweet Reward 10s, Haunted Dream is 12-1, and a few others in there as well. Loyal Touch, who ran today, might well go. Paradius, who hasn't been seen since being beaten out of sight over hurdles. Kealy Beggs Warrior, Lord Melbourne, Mysterious Love, Sonnery Power does not go here, but it still leaves us with 13 of them, quite a few of them nicely progressive types, or horses like City Streak, who will be absolutely 100% suited by the conditions. But I'm going to come to Paul Kealy, as this is a handicap first for this, because I think we're slightly in agreement here in terms of this race. The card tomorrow at Epsom, it was a tricky one to my eyes, but one horse I've kind of wanted to follow all season was Liberty Lane. Disappointed at Doncaster, but stuck on the wing in bad ground. But he won me
round last time. He won me round last time. I mean, he was 2 from 2 on soft ground going into Doncaster, but he scoped dirty afterwards. So I think we forgive him that. And he just looked better the further he went at Newmarket. It was back up to 1 mile and a furlong. Now, he tried 1.25 miles early on as a 3-year-old. He was very keen first try, but he was second to Waipiro, which wasn't a bad one because he won at Royal Ascot. Then he went in the Dante, not good enough, and then he ran in a Royal Ascot handicap. But both those runs came on really, really fast ground. So it was a combination of going back on a soft ground and going back to a mile, rather than just going back to a mile when he beat Sonny Liston at Doncaster last year. Obviously, Sonny Liston's made that form look very good by dotting up in the spring mile at Newbury recently, and he's up to 111. And Liberty Lane, well, like I said, he just looked further. He looked better the further he went last time. He's up another furlong now, back up to 1 mile 2. He's down one over the St Ledger course and distance, and I think the bit in the ground, a bit of digging the ground definitely suits him. I know it was good ground at Newmarket last time, but just on his action, you can see that he's going to love a bit of cut. I was a little bit surprised that stablemate Bolster was favourite ahead of him, to be honest. I wouldn't put that down to jockeys because Pierre-Louis Germain rode Bolster last time anyway.
Yeah,
so
that form's worked out well.
That form has worked out well, but I just thought Liberty Lane, he's going to be running in group races sooner or later, I think, especially on soft ground. And it'll have to be winning this off a mark of 106, but I just thought he's going to go really, really well. I gave half a chance to much lower down the weight, Sweet Reward, with Sylvester de Souza booked. He's just pretty good on downhill tracks. He's won here, he's won twice at Goodwood. He ran well last time. Sylvester de Souza didn't have the best record at Epsom on the last 2 seasons he rode here, but he had a really, really good record before that. And if he's back and hungry, he can certainly get him home round here.
Yeah. Okay. City Streak and Bolster 9-2 joint favourites here. Then Tom Segal for this handicap. I know Liberty Lane was one you kind of gave up on before he came back at Newmarket last time. It's always hard a little bit when you've kind of put a line through a horse and then they bounce back to approach it with a clear head here. But it's fascinating given you've got your Royal Rhyme, you've got Liberty Lane, you've got Bolster, Carl Burke, Shaker Bait. Talk about trainers and owners having a right old time of it as well. They could probably run a Group 2 or Group 3 10 furlong race with horses they train and own alone at the moment.
Absolutely, yeah, they're flying, aren't they? I agree with what Kealy said. I'm a rejuvenated Liberty Lane fan because I was very keen on him in the Lincoln, and I don't think did he beat any home? I don't know, but obviously there was an excuse for him that day, and then he came back, and Carl said he was because he was back on good ground, and I'm not having that. I think he liked soft ground. I think when he beat Sonny Liston, it was soft, and so I don't mind what the ground does for him. I think stepping up in trip will help him. He definitely likes that. So he is the class act, but it's Epsom, and there's loads of pace. There's going to be loads of horses taking him on, none less than his stablemate Bolster. But we're jamming. Pierre-Louis jamming. I thought he could go well. He was good from the front, wasn't he? At Pontefract last time on soft ground, City Streak. Andrew Baldwin's got a very good record in these sort of races round Epsom. They're just plenty short enough at 9-2. Those two. Prefer Liberty Lane to the other ones. Derry Lad has been sort of the talk of the town, hasn't he? Recently because of his incredible strong finish in a race at Navan last time over a mile, and he's back up to a mile and a quarter. He could go well. I know. I still have faith. Tommy Skoo won the Legends race on him. There's plenty you could fancy. I thought King's Code might run well. I'm hoping that there's plenty of pace on for him because I was impressed. I think Botanical, who beat him at York Time, is a really good horse. I think he's a group horse, undoubtedly.
Well, he's another one, isn't it? That's the fourth obeyed 10 furlong horse. At the moment, there'll be 3 places each way for this race if we keep going at this rate.
Yeah, exactly. Is he Roger Varian, is he?
He is, yeah.
Can't remember. But I thought King's Code was good against him. I thought he was fine in the... he was drawn on the wrong side in the Liberty Lane race. Stayed on quite well from the back. That was over 9 furlongs on a quicker track. I think going around a bend and 10 furlongs is what he wants. I could see him going well at a big price if there's plenty of pace. I hate doing pace analysis because as soon as you do it, the absolutely opposite happens. But I thought they'd go a decent clip here. And if there's space, and I expect there to be, because I don't think they'll necessarily all stay on the rail here, I could see him finishing well for Cosgrove rides, isn't he? I thought he'd run well, King's Code.
Okay, yeah. He's my Liberty Lane in this race a little bit because backed him at Newcastle when he caught the eye again. Backed him at Newmarket. Left him alone at York last time out. So yeah, it's we've all got one. We've all got one. David Stevens.
Are you going to back him, Ross? King's Code.
No, I don't think I am this time. So tomorrow's the day, I guess.
I'll double up.
Yeah, double up, yeah. Get a bit more on. David Stevens, what do you make of this race?
Well, you might want to all reconsider your selections because I got 2 on my list: Liberty Lane and King's Code. So
dear.
there we go. Yeah, that's it. 4 places each way. I'll be having the exacta and everything. But Carl Burke obviously has a very strong hand here. Carl Burke to win this race, 5-2 from 2-1. But yeah, sorry lads, Liberty Lane and King's Code for me.
Okay, fair enough. But look, it's got to happen. It's got to happen, David Stevens. It's I feel you can turn it around in life. Andy M says Liberty Lane had a physical issue in the Lincoln and can excuse that effort. And Destiny Sounds says hard to choose between both of Carl Burke's. Could he get first and second? Why not? Put the reverse forecast on for a bit of a treat. Right, let's move on to the feature of Friday then. The 2024 renewal of the Oaks at Epsom, and Ylang is 2-1 favourite here. Azalea is 9-2. Rubies of Red is 5-1. Forest Fairy at 7-1. Secret Satire 12s. You've got to be 12s. Treasure 16s with Dance Sequence at 18-1. Then we get into the realms of Court You Looking, Making Dreams, Seaward, and War Chimes, who are all very big prices indeed, despite the fact that a couple of them are trained by handlers who do pretty well with these kind of races. Carl Burke and Rafe Beckett specifically. David Menduissier, who likes a runner and a winner at Epsom as well. It's starting to turn into the Oaks a bit of a race where 2 or 3 fight it out, and the rest of them are all playing for mid-division places and maybe listed in Group 3 honours later on in the season, Tom Segal. And I kind of get the feeling a little bit about this race again this year. You've got your Lingfield trial where pretty much the first 4 turn up and have a crack again, and that was possibly one of the strangest races I've ever watched as a racing fan. You've got Dermot Wells sending one over, but they never seem to just progress and win these races. And then you've got a 2-1 favourite in Ylang, who is shaped like a stayer, but is probably the most likely winner, but is a 2-1 favourite, Tom. What did you make of this year's renewal?
I'm slightly taken aback by your Dermot Weld description there. I've always had him down as being a incredibly good trainer when he targets one. But what did I think about it? I thought undoubtedly Ylang was the class horse in the race. Undoubtedly on form. She's well clear on form. It's just a question of whether she's going to stay the trip for me. On pedigree, she should. The way she races, not convinced. I don't know. And therefore, I had to take her on at 2-1. She could win by miles. She could easily win by miles. She could be different class to these. But with my doubt in the back of my mind, just the way she races, the way she moves, staying a mile and a half, I have to take her on at that price. Azalea is similar. I watched her again. I mean, I'm on her from an anti-post perspective, and I watched her again at Navan. And while she's hitting the line hard, quite strongly there, I'm not 100% certain a mile and a half is going to be it. I'm not one of these freaky clowns who say, we can't have classic winners at Epsom because postponed, and loads of horses feast, Gayath, Rebels, Romance. Loads of them have stayed the trip, and that's just rubbish to me. Rubies of Red has got, I don't know, she could definitely go well, being found sister. I think obviously she'll stay very well, and just a question of whether she handles the track, but that's another thing I'm not that worried about. I think there's too much talked about that. Horses are written off because of the track before they've even tried it. So she could go well. I like Forest Fairy though. I moonlighted, Ross, you'll be disappointed to hear, and did a podcast with our golfing friends from the Racing Post, the Sweet Spot, and they got a question in there asking me for my horse to follow, and this was at Masters time for the season, and my fast horse to follow for the season was Forest Fairy, after she just won at Wolverhampton. I have had a few quid on her at big prices for this race. I still think she's got some potential to come. She's 2 from 2. I thought she did really well to win at Chester last time. I thought they went slow. She was trapped in a pocket. Wasn't great form, admittedly, but it's hard to win at Chester when you get trapped in a pocket and you get out with, a furlong to go. She did well to get up. I think the softer the ground, the better she is. We know she stays. Rafe Beckett, I think he's won it twice, maybe 3 times. Twice, I think, and then was unlucky with Secret Gesture. Last man to win it's bar Aidan O'Brien and John on the Gosdens is Rafe Beckett. So I think she is comfortably the best of his lot. So while I am very worried about Ylang Ylang being a class above, which is entirely possible, I do harbour doubts about her staying, and therefore I'm on Forest Fairy. And if I was going to give a shout to a big outsider, it would probably be Noel Mead's one, Caught You Looking, just because she's a group winner, wasn't far behind Azealia last time. She's by Harzand, so I could see her running into the frame. I doubt she's got the class to win, but if Ylang doesn't win, I hope Azealia or Forest Fairy does, because they're the ones that backed.
Okay, yeah, Forest Fairy. Yeah, I mean, she's got the right kind of way of going about things. I know what you mean at Chester. To win, I always like horses who find a way to win when things go against them, and she certainly has that. Yeah, and Beckett, yeah, like you said, talent, and I mean, he's just fantastic with fillies of this nature, isn't he? But again, I think we're probably going to slightly agree with Tom, because every time I see Ylang, I think this horse is going to absolutely relish a mile and a half and rattling down the middle of the track, and you think she's going to win by?
Well, yeah. I mean,
let
me get to that.
Oh, sorry. Okay, right. You actually are going to do the distance.
Yeah. The one thing I was going to say is I don't. I very rarely get involved in short odds. So be prepared. You might find out why, because I do think Ylang is going to win. In fact, it was the one time I've actually looked forward to a Cole winning distance thing. They don't seem to have done it. I'm going 8 lengths.
8 lengths?
I think she'll thrash them. I think most of these are barely listed class so far. Yes, they can improve and that, but what we've seen so far, I just thought all them trials were absolute rubbish. I really did. I mean, this Ruby's a Red is 5 to 1. I mean, that is the worst price I've ever seen any horse ever. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, when we talk about not handling the track, she didn't handle Lingfield at all. Yes, she might have rattled home, but in a bad race, like, a really bad trial, I think, anyway. And she's rated 97. 4 of the 5 longest priced horses in this race are officially between £3 and £9 better than her, and she's 5 to 1. Absolute pants price. I just think Ylang she's a stone better than most of these horses already, and that's on form at a mile. Now, when she won the Fillies Mile last year, she looked like she was already screaming out for further. She only just got up on top. That's exactly what it looked like in the Guineas when she charged home to finish 5th. She's by Frankel, who gets so many stayers. Dam stayed a mile and a half, just about. I don't have any worries on that score. I think she's in a completely different league, and she'll win easily. Okay,
yeah, and the 1,000 guineas has thrown up the Irish Guineas winner, the German Guineas winner, Riga Jubilee, who went on to Goodwood and was just touched off by Francophone.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the form's solid. Probably better than it looked at the time, because obviously it was outsiders winning, and but it's solid. I just think. I do generally think she'll win pretty easily. She's a different class to these, and it's because it's the Oaks that she's 2 to 1 and not evens. If this was a standard listed race, and she had that much on the figures ahead of everybody else, it should be evens.
Yeah, the one we haven't mentioned is Secret Satire. I know everyone talked about how the Musadora was a bit of a farce and the favourite bombed out and everything, but she's got a weird old pedigree by a sprinter out of a stayer. But the second Francophone's obviously front that form as well, and Andrew Balding.
Yeah,
good
better
draw.
form than I thought it was. I mean, I was dead against her, and I probably still am, really, because she was very keen early. Now, it's all right doing that on a flat track, but when you're running uphill to start with at Epsom and you're doing that, and is she really going to stay a mile and a half after doing that? I mean, if she's that keen running uphill, she's surely going to be running on empty. I know she looked very strong at the end over a mile 2.5, but softer ground, stiffer track further, can't have.
Not for you. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. So a difference of opinion, slightly. Not necessarily a difference of opinion, David Stevens, but Tom Segal thinks the favourite is probably the one to beat, and Paul Kealy thinks that the favourite's going to beat the rest by, what was it, 8 lengths?
8 lengths, yeah.
Okay. Surely there's a distance market, David Stevens. You can rustle up, or you can just lay the man yourself. What are you going 8 lengths?
8 lengths. I've messaged James Knight. If he comes back to me before the end of the show, we'll say 8 lengths. That's one hell of a shout, Kills. Listen, I agree with you. I mean, she's another one. 5 to 2 is the price boost. I think it's a really fair price. I think she's by far the most likely winner. She's had the run this season, obviously, which Aiden's have seemingly needed. I don't think there's any issues with the trip. Group 1 winning 2-year-old over a mile. And I think we've come up with a forecast, because I think Forest Fairy could chase her home. She's 2 from 2, obviously. Won well at Chester in difficult circumstances. I mean, Rafe Beckett goes mob-handed here. I agree with Kills about Ruby's a Red. I think it's a terrible price. I don't know why she's more than half the price less than half the price of You Got To Me. I don't see any reason why she's necessarily going to beat the one that beat her at Lingfield. I say all the trial winners are here, but the 5th in the Guineas does set the standard for me, so I'll have her to chase home Forest Fairy. Forest Fairy to chase her home.
Okay, there you go. Thank you, Mr. Stevens. There. So the Oaks 2024 goes to Paul Kealy.
Ylang.
Okay, yeah, I'm inclined to agree. I think we're probably all singing from a vaguely similar hymn sheet. Probably Ylang and Forest Fairy would be my two. Tom?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm not completely convinced. I'm not into it really, but the striding boys tell me she's got no chance of staying a mile and a half for Ylang. I don't really believe in that, but there's, they've obviously done their work and they say that. So whether that's anything anyone wants to hang their coat on, I don't know. But I think Forest Fairy's got a chance. I mean, like Keel said, like you've said, Yang's got the form. If she doesn't stay, I think Forest Fairy's the one who can take advantage.
Okay. Just a quick word on. There's been talk, of course, gentlemen, of lengthening the Oaks and Derby Festival to a jamboree, an extravaganza, a Galway festival, as it were. Paul Kealy, how much Epsom do you want?
No more than 2 days. I mean, really. I mean, it used to be 4, didn't it? I mean, the last time it was 4 was 30 years ago on Saturday was the last time that it went Wednesday to Saturday. The Thursday, the prize money, the win prize money in the whole of the Thursday was 28 grand.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, they cannot get the class. It was class D and E, maidens and handicaps and the like. You cannot get that many good horses running at Epsom 3 weeks before Ascot. Can't fill the group races as we are. Like, outside the Oaks and the Derby, they're all single figure fields, virtually every one of them. Just, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, less is more.
I mean, we don't want it to turn to Doncaster, as it were, Tom, where you've got maidens and handicaps, and you throw in the legend races in as well. We'll be having claimers before classics at this rate, won't we?
Yeah, I mean, my only thing I'd say, and I'm old, I hated it. I think they ruined it when they moved it to a Saturday. I know loads of people don't disagree, but I thought when it was on a Wednesday when I was young, it was racing's day. It was a bit like the Cheltenham Gold Cup. It was racing's day. There was nothing to compare it with. It was packed out. There was 150,000 people on the Downs. And I think they ruined it when they moved it to a Saturday. Now, I know more people can watch it. I know more people can go because it's their day off. But I think racing needed a day in the sun. And I think they lost it when they moved it to a Saturday. But
I won't argue with that, but the meeting itself was way too long, wasn't it?
Mm. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It was way too long. I mean, I used to go I used to go on the Wednesday to watch the Derby. Then I'd go on the Friday to watch, I don't even know if the Coronation Cup was on the Friday, but no one used to go. On Thursday, it was a ghost town. It was pointless. But I think 2 days is great. Personally, I'd try and get it so racing had its day because I thought it was...
Maybe it should be 1 day on a Wednesday.
Well, that's what I think. That's what I think. And the thing is, the worst thing was...
Derby, Coronation Cup.
But the worst thing that happened was
what's the worst thing?
They changed the time of the Derby so that it could be half time in a England versus Jamaica friendly football match. I mean, that's how bad it was. England versus Jamaica friendly football match, and they put the time back to 4:45. If that doesn't tell you how little it resonated in society now, then nothing will. So it gave it Friday, give it back to Wednesday, and gave it a shot at being a big event again. You never know, it might work.
If you saw the crowd that didn't turn up for the draw that was made outside Wetherspoons in Epsom Town Centre today, then you'd see how much it resonates with the crowd. Ping pong balls with felt tip written numbers on them. I mean, how Mickey Mouse did that make us look?
Yeah, look, ping pong balls are, cost of living, very expensive these days.
And cupcakes. You have to have cupcakes everywhere with racing. That's it, isn't it? Racing and cupcakes.
I'd settle for a cupcake right now, if I'm honest. We're missing a trick. If they've got cupcakes and ping pong balls, why haven't we? But I've missed the boat now, but I can't get it out of my head, Tom. I would say that race, the renewal between half-time England-Jamaica was a particularly cool running.
Hey.
Good, lovely stuff, right. But just last curveball before we go on to the last two. I think it's Craig Thake who's written an article about bank holidays needing a boost. Why not get a Group 1 on a bank holiday? I'd rather see it on a bank holiday Monday, I think, and then everyone can...
Monday, yeah. So, we'll have a little bit earlier, because we've got the Zetland Gold Cup at the moment, haven't we?
Yeah.
Why don't we have the Derby instead?
A week
Great
before.
idea.
Yeah, why not? That'd certainly... jam up the motorways, that's for sure. Anyway, 2 races to go then at Epsom on Oaks Day. Let's have a look at the Surrey Stakes. Zoom Zoom 9-4 favourite here. Pandora's Gift 3-1. Balmacara 7-2. Native American 13-2. Evade 17-2. Bellaci and Heritage House 16-1 outsiders of this 7-runner field. But a little bit of a Brucey bonus, David. Just to confirm, you are going 3 places.
We are certainly 3 places in this way. I'll kick us off with a tip for Balmacara, who's 2 from 2 this season and is owned by an old boss of mine.
Oh, here we go.
Giannis Mariscotti. Mick's an Epsom man and loves nothing more than a winner at this meeting. This will have been the plan from the day one. There you go. Balmacara wins by 9 lengths.
Lovely stuff. Glad we got
Oh my God, that is if that's not a plea for a champagne reception in the box, then nothing.
Absolutely.
I don't think it's a plea for champagne reception. I think we've just pressed play on a video we've used 10 times and just changed the name of the horse. It's like a bit of The Simpsons where they have the Krusty Camp where they go over the name of the person who's running it. You weren't expecting that to come up tonight, were you? Okay, Balmacara at 7-2 then for David Stevens, purely from a form-based perspective. But again, this is another race where I looked at a few of these and thought they had a little bit of a squeak, but... I don't know, I was looking... I know how kind of weak the race is when I'm looking at Heritage House and thinking, Yarda in form, that might have a squeak. I kind of think any of these could win.
It's one of those where I was thinking along those lines, and I ended up coming down to the fact that I think Zoom Zoom's just incredibly solid at the front of the market.
Yeah.
Just like soft ground. It's just got it's got just about the best form. Always runs his race, entitled to come on for that third in the at a higher level at Newbury last time in the Greenham. Yeah, I just think it'd be hard to beat. Okay. I could see the case for Balmacara certainly improving. He was behind Zoom Zoom when they made their debuts, but yeah, I think Zoom Zoom's the one to beat very much.
Okay. The horse is probably just behind him in terms of 2-year-old quality, though. Native American, I thought was a little bit interesting as well, Tom. That you can put a line through that Newmarket race. It was a good one. Stuck out on the wing, 9 furlongs. This is more his bag.
Yeah, very much so. I know Richard Pye is very keen on him. I thought Pandora's Gift's been really impressive. Don't know whether she will like soft ground. If it is soft, I do like Balmacara a bit, actually. I just thought that he was really impressive at Doncaster last time. I knew Bay won't mind any giving the ground. I thought he might be able to beat Zoom Zoom, getting a bit of weight.
Okay, there we go. The Aston Martin Surrey Stakes, David. Before you get in yours for a spin round the block, anything else to add?
No, that's it. No, I'll stick with Balmacara.
Okay, thank you very much. And the last race on the Epsom card then on Oaks Day is another race over 7 furlongs. This time a handicap with 12 of them lining up, and Roger Varian and Oisin Murphy are blasting off with Mission to Moon here at 130. Darkness is 9-2. Dark 30 is 5-1. Spanish Star 13-2. Ross Goal in 7-1. Earls 10-1. Marley Park 11s and Speeding Bullet 12s. Bigger prices the rest here, and a handful of Epsom horses in here. And if you thought it was odds on that David Stevens would mention the owner of Balmacara, well, I wonder which horse Paul Kealy will be backing in the last race at Epsom.
Well, I've got loads of old fabs in here, to be fair.
Yeah.
I have got plenty. Ross Colin, for one.
Yeah.
I've backed him a million times, and he has won this race before, and he is well handicapped. But I pretty much back Marley Park whenever he runs at Epsom. He's been in the first 2 9 times from 14 starts. There's a couple of thirds as well. Didn't run well at Windsor last time. Will have been all about this meeting. He's had a wind up since. I just think Short to run well. Was third last year off a similar mark, and yeah, I cannot see him not running well. And you get a double figure price. I think that's fair. You look at some of these, you think there's an interesting 3-year-old in the race, but invariably this is a bog standard handicap. It's been won by 2 8-year-olds and a 7-year-old in the last 6 years. Yep. It's also been won by 2 Epsom horses in the last 6 years. One from Simon Dow, one from Laura Mungan. So Jim Boyle, it's his turn. Hopefully at Marley Park will run very, very well.
Yeah, I think last year, I believe you said something along the lines, if this horse doesn't finish in the frame, I'm retiring, and he managed to sneak into third. So it's good job.
Behind
he's still
Spanish Star, who's back again.
Yeah, Spanish Star. Yeah, he's back again. I thought Dark 30 had a bit of a chance as well. Tom Segal in this last one. Completely missed the break, ran well at Newmarket in a good race last time out. Darkness ran in that good Newmarket race and has got form round here. Again, old favourites galore.
Yeah, not my type of race, really. Quite like Darkness, actually. I thought Darkness is best when he can make the running, and I thought we might be able to make the running. I know Dark 30's in there as well, but if Darkness could get somewhere near the lead, I think we might be quite hard to pass around here. So he was my one, but it's not a race I have too much interest in.
Okay, there you go. Darkness then potentially. Small stakes for Tom Segal. David Stevens, sum it up for us.
4 places each way in the finale, and I hope Jim Boyle wins it. But with his other one, Hodler, has won over 7 furlongs. He's drawn on in number 1 is the only slight question mark, but won't mind rain softened ground. 3rd at Yarmouth last time, £3 lower than his last winning mark. So I'm hoping it's another Epsom win.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. We will round off our Oaks preview with the naps in a second or two, but first enjoy this glossy ad.
To the final bend of the Coral Fat Derby, where racing lovers of the UK are in a spectacular contest. And what's this? He's shaking his phone like it's a pocket-sized maraca. They're all getting rewards now. He's shaking it, she's shaking it, they're all shaking it. Play the free Coral Rewards Shaker to win guaranteed daily rewards and offers. Coral, we're here for it.
Okay, right, let's get the naps then on Oaks Day. Starting off with, of course, the man to my left, Mr. Paul Kealy. What's the best bet?
Koi Koi, I think, in the second race, just got so much going for him.
Okay, I think maybe Koi Koi Yang Lang.
Double,
potentially there, yeah, okay. So good they named him twice. Tom Segal, what's your nap on Oaks Day?
Nap, it's a tricky one. Has Keels left the Oaks door open? I'll go for Forest Fairy, but I'm not sure it's the best nap I've ever given.
Okay. Fair enough. But again, I mean, we so far you've got Koi Koi, you've got Forest Fairy. I quite like Liberty Lane in the 345 at Epsom. I think he's a really progressive type. So, what's your nap? There's 2 words, both starting with the same letter, David Stevens, if you could. No,
I'm afraid it's Balmacara in the 6th race.
Okay, fair enough. Again, leafing through that form book to find that one. In the Surrey Stakes, lovely stuff. Well, thank you, gentlemen. It's been an absolute pleasure to return to the screens with you after a month's absence. We'll be back tomorrow night to get stuck into the derby as well. Thank you to everyone for watching, and if you haven't done so already, please like the stream and get a good night's sleep ahead of 2 days, not 7, at Epsom.